Good evening. Welcome to the Stephen Knight Show. Hope you're having a great Monday. We're going to try our best to make it better. Tonight, we're breaking down all the hot topics. We discussed Trump's 100-day approval ratings, the controversy around Shedeur Sanders getting drafted, and Saquon Barkley responding to the backlash of him spending the day with Trump. Plus, former NFL Patriots coach Bill Belichick is the talk of social media following a recent interview with his young girlfriend, and more on the sexual accusations against Shannon Sharpe. All that much more. I want to remind you over Facebook, Blue Sky, and X, as well as our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show. Please, please, please subscribe. We appreciate you. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think about our topics. All right, so check this. Well, first of all, family, how y'all doing? Everybody doing good?
Yes, how are you?
Blessed and highly favored.
All right. Hey, Chica, I know you want to give a shout out. I'll let you go ahead and do that.
Oh, yeah. So over the weekend, I filmed an interview with the YouTube show with Dave Benson. And I shouted out the Stephen Knight Show and all the great things, other things that I'm doing. Shout out to Dave Benson and the YouTube show. Please go by and check him out, subscribe. I was going to help support him because he's going to also support us. Yeah, I love the fact that there are podcasters out there that aren't snippy and nasty and vindictive and backbiting. You know, we're all in this together. There's enough room for all of us to eat, and there's enough room for all of us to shine. So
I agree.
Power to the people.
Amen.
I agree. All right, well, check this out, this question of the day. This girl, she tweeted this. My homegirl said that she and her husband went to marriage counseling, and the therapist terminated therapy with them after only one session. Later, the therapist sent her an email telling her to divorce that man ASAP. She asked me if she should report the therapist to the board. What are your thoughts? I'll start with you, Brittany.
I know somebody else that this happened to personally, or so I was told. So this is not the first I've heard of this. And I don't think so. I think somebody trying to give you a little help. You went to her for a service. She saw she couldn't help you. And she gave you a recommendation of her personal professional opinion. I don't think that she should be reported. I mean, I think doctors do it all the time. I think sometimes you go to a doctor and they'll try to be as professional as possible, but I know doctors that'll make a recommendation or a suggestion on something that they don't really necessarily have the wherewithal to say anything about. So I don't think so. Take the help, girl, and keep it moving.
Chica, what are your thoughts?
So I have some questions. Your friend is a female?
Yeah, she's a female. Well, I don't know the person, but someone, the woman that tweeted it, she said she had her homegirl.
Oh, okay. So
husband.
it's a female, and the doctor's a female.
Yes.
See, I watch too much TV, and I see too many documentary movies. That doctor may be having an affair with that lady, man. She didn't already know, she trying to give you a little heads up and saying, my girl, you got to leave that man alone because I'm already messing with him. I don't know, but I would take the hint and roll with it.
Yeah.
That's like me. He need more details. I always ask the questions. Nobody else is in here asking the questions like that, and I always I need more details.
Seriously though, think about it. If you're a doctor and your job is to evaluate my relationship, and you didn't listen to us, we walked in for one session. We didn't really have time with you for you to do an analysis of our situation, and you did that off the rip. There's something else going on. Matter of fact, she should step to him and tell him, she told me to get rid of you. What the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just that bad. Red flags is red flags. He could walk in and it'd be all about him. And she'd be like, girl, leave this man.
Well, she may even know what else he's doing, and he don't know that she knows what he's doing in the street.
Oh, yeah.
This world that we live in, people think that, we're more than 3 degrees from separation these days. It's
be
not
smashing her friend. What if he filled out one of them sheets and he put all this horrible information on the sheet? And she was like, what the fuck?
Listen, doctor may be on the Smut app and she saw his profile. You don't know.
Yeah. There's a movie I saw it one day. I was bored watching movies on BET. And Cynthia Bailey, she actually plays a therapist, and she does therapy for a couple, and she's actually having an affair with the husband. but she's not trying to break them up. But
It was
that's
in the
Yeah.
First Wives Club or the First Wife, that old movie with with Bette Midler and all the white women were in there, and she was going trying to get her marriage back, and there was a white woman, I forgot her name, and walked in and he was fucking a therapist, and then she lost her mind, boy. She
Mhm.
beat her, with the little the therapy mechanism to calm down.
well,
My advice to the lady is this: look at that as a message from Galt and run with it.
yeah. Will did say this because a therapist doesn't tell you what to do, but he said the role of a therapist is to help the client to think about their choices and become self-aware how their actions impact their lives, which is true. A therapist is not gonna tell you need to do this. They talk you through it, help you
Right.
get your own understanding. But this is definitely interesting. So go on our Blue Sky or our X and let us know what would you do in that situation. All right, Stephen Knight Show or the Stephen Knight Show. All right, so the new poll reveals Donald Trump has garnered the lowest 100-day approval rating in 80 years with just 39%. This is down 3 points from his first term 100-day approval rating of 42%. Now, ahead of the results, a Washington Post, ABC News, Pipsel poll surveyed 2,464 United States adults between April 18th and the 22nd of this year. The poll's finding reveals that only 39% of Americans answered yes when asked, do you approve or disagree of the way Donald Trump is handling his job as president? The new numbers marks steep 6% drop from February poll results. At the time, he was at 45%. Americans said yes when they were asked the same question, with 55% boldly saying no. According to ABC News, in polls dating back 80 years, in 1945, the previous low in approval for a president would, for 100 years was at 42%, which was when Trump was in office the first time in 2017. So, of course, he's saying that these polls are rigged by people that have Trump derangement syndrome, etc. Of course, everything's rigged. Chike, are you shocked by these polls? Because there are so many people that did vote for him, but they're starting to feel the results of his administration. Are you shocked by these polls?
I'm shocked that they're not lower.
Yeah, yeah,
Just saying.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm shocked that they're. I think by the time we get into the summer, and some of those privileges that people are used to will not be around. I think the shelves will be, a little sparse. I think that those vacations will be more expensive or non-existent. I think that the kick in of those extra fees for the things that we love will have kicked in. So I think maybe by July or August, they'll be in the tank.
Yeah. And Brittany said 62% said prices are rising under Trump, despite his campaign promises to cut costs. 71% said that they view his tariffs as a negative factor in the price inflation, and 31 said that they believe Trump will help give the economy a stronger foundation for the long term. So I was watching CBS Evening News, and there's this one town. They're known for making the RVs, and they said that town really tells you how the economy impacts our country because it's a small town and that's what they're known for. They were interviewing this woman. She owns a flower shop. She's a florist, and she said that she's definitely seen a decrease in her orders. But this was what got me. She said typically around this time is her best time because Mother's Day is coming, and she's not seeing those orders come in. So it speaks to what people, because they're saying that we're not in a recession yet, but people are nervous about making spending habits. Like that one woman herself, she needs brand new shoes because she's on her feet all day, but she says she's not spending $150 on shoes. So Brittany, do you think that do you agree with Chike these numbers will decrease if something doesn't change?
Um, I I don't know if they'll decrease or stay the same. Like For example, I think that when the Super Bowl was coming around, everybody was like, should it be Wayne or Kendrick Lamar? Or should it be this or should it be that? And then when they got what they wanted, then they were mad about it. And it's just like, I think that I don't get why people are surprised of the consequences. And then they said, oh, well, I know people that didn't vote for Trump specifically, but they voted for his administration. And I think that as a group of people, or a species, we can be so delusional sometimes. And I think that's where we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't understand why this is surprising.
Right. And this is, I saw something today that Cubans in Florida, they're outraged by the administration and they overwhelmingly voted for him.
Yeah.
But I think what the case is that people that voted for him didn't think they would specifically be, or their communities would be specifically impacted by his behavior. They thought others would. And now that they're being impacted, is all this outrage. You know what I mean?
It's like the woe is me concept. I just can't.
I think it's all in relation to who you assimilate to be or who you assimilate to be like.
Yeah.
And some people of certain communities assimilate to be a part of other communities, and they think they are a part of, and they think that those privileges that come along with those other parts of community belong to them as well. But you soon realize that you are not, they do not, and you will be a part of the other.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, most people are for legal immigration, but I think it's the way in which you do it. And I was watching this congressman or a senator. He was in his town hall in his state, and it was a red state, and they were saying, when are you going to bring those citizens back? When are you going to bring those people back? They're speaking out against what's happening as it relates to immigration.
Can I just say this, Stephen? I think that a lot of people, when they think about balance or they talk about balance, they look at it as being like an even scale.
Right.
But sometimes balance looks like this, and sometimes balance looks like that. If you ever look at an equalizer for a sound system, the lines don't go straight across. They're all over the place for that perfect balance.
Exactly.
And what people don't realize is immigrants being in the country help the country.
Yes.
They help keep us at balance. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to support it or not, there is some type of balance that happens when we have people that do the jobs that others do not want to do, and they're willing to take the lower wage in order to do it. They're not being persecuted upon. They're not complaining because they do have the opportunity to dig in and do better, but you do what you do until you can do better. That's the balance. And I'm not saying that this is a perfect place, but there was some type of harmony in the situation to keep evil at bay.
Right.
And now you messed with the harmony of the balance, and you see what's happening.
And they contribute millions of money in taxes every year. I think almost billions.
That they do not get to collect.
They don't get to claim it. They don't get any benefit.
They're just shelling out money.
Yeah.
I do think that people find his antics amusing, and so they vote for the amusement.
Yeah, no, I think
I will agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I think they vote for the amusement and the entertainment of it all, instead of looking at how it's going to impact their life.
Right.
So I think
when that
that's
reality show camera turns back around and is focused on you and your home, and you can't put bread on the table, you're the star of that episode. It don't feel too good.
It does. The consequences.
They deported 3 kids that were U.S. citizens. Their mom was not. 3 U.S. citizens, and I believe one of them had a rare cancer that was getting treated.
Right.
And so they asked the border czar, what about the children? Do you think there should be a concession for a kid with cancer? He said, I don't know specifically about this case, but it's the mom's fault for bringing them here.
Wow.
All right. Well, Jax Albright, he's a 21-year-old son of Atlanta Falcons defense coordinator Jeff Albright, is apologizing for pranking Shedeur Sanders over the weekend. Now, there's the NFL draft, and Shedeur Sanders, he's the son of Deion Sanders, and, he wasn't getting drafted. So there was all this controversy around it. Apparently, he had this phone that was just for NFL coaches. But before he was drafted, because he ended up getting drafted to Cleveland Browns, on Saturday, he received a prank call from someone pretending to be a coach, one of the coaching teams, the New Orleans Saints. During the brief chat, Shedeur said, "I've been waiting for your call," before the person on the other one said, "You'll have to wait a little bit longer," leaving Shedeur confused. He quickly realized it was a prank and pointed out that no one had that specific phone number except for NFL coaches. On Sunday, the Falcons released a statement and revealed that it was Jax who made that phone call after finding the cell phone number. Jax is now apologized and has turned off his comments on his post. Now, the Daily Mail is reporting that Jax's father, Jeff, will not face any consequences. And mind you, they're doing this, recording it, post it, you know what I mean? And so I guess it didn't turn out the way he wanted. But do you think, Brittany, do you think that his father, Jeff, should be receiving consequences for his son's action?
Yeah, because I mean, how he got the phone number? I mean, okay, hold on, let me back up. My son, it is hard to keep your phone code out your kids' hand. My son know my code. Even when I change my code, because he be pissing me off sometimes, that little boy will watch me put my code back in the phone. He like, these kids find a way. Like, I was doing something and I told him I'll be there in 5 minutes. Now I do be lying. I am that person. I'll be there in 5 minutes and it'll be like 10, 15 minutes. That little Negro got my location shared with him so he can see where I'm at. Like, they find a way. They really do.
Yeah.
But so, and then we live in the same house together. So like, it is hard. But I do think if my son went in my phone and got some contacts or did some things with my job that he wasn't supposed to, I would still suffer the consequences. We work in HR. Like, I couldn't imagine him going and leaking a document or something, or downloading a document or doing anything on my personal computer, my work phone or my work computer, and then being like, I don't get consequences at my job.
Yeah.
And I do think that Shedeur's phone number was not public information.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there should be some consequences, or there should be something done. I don't know what could be done.
Yeah. Shige, what do you think? Now he's 21 years old, the son. Should his dad be responsible?
Dad is a coach, right?
Dad is a player.
Oh, he's a player.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
He's the coach.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in my line of work, if I took my work phone home and it has patient information in it, and someone in my household, I could be brought up on charges because
Mm-hmm.
that violates the HIPAA. So if you take your work home and someone from your home does something with your work device related to work, especially that's a direct thing. You misled someone in business and it wasn't really a business situation on your prank. I think that the dad should be fined.
Mm. Yeah. All right. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles are scheduled to they were scheduled to visit the White House today to celebrate their Super Bowl victory. Ahead of the team's visit, Saquon Barkley was seen kicking it with Donald Trump. On Sunday, the two were seen getting off Marine One in New Jersey, chatting before they parted ways. Trump spoke to the reporter and said, "What a nice guy." Wanted to race him, but decided not to do it. Now, according to CNN, Quan joined Trump at the Trump National Golf Club. Now, it was previously reported that his teammate, Squan's teammate, Jalen Hurts, when they asked him if he would be attending the White House, he didn't answer. Well, he ended up not going. He didn't attend today, and his other teammates on the Eagles did not attend. Saquon took to social media after receiving backlash, and he tweeted, "LOL, some people are really upset because I played golf and flew to the White House with the president. Maybe I just respect the office, not a hard concept to understand. Just golf with Obama not too long ago and look forward to finishing my round with Trump. Now y'all get off my mentions with all this politics and have an amazing day." Smiley face. What are your thoughts, Shika?
Everybody has their own path in life. And whatever backlash he's going to get from it. It's something about these men that are of color that run these footballs and get all these accolades. And I can think of another gentleman from the past that did the same thing, and he found out the hard way that he was still a black man.
Yes.
You represent more than the NFL and the team that you play for because of the color of your skin. I'm so sorry that is your situation, but you just do, just simply because it is what it is. And you have to make certain choices, and that is the choice that he decided to make. You have to be ready for the backlash that comes from it. You made a decision. I'm glad you stuck with it. You have balls. You have your own integrity. It is what it is. Now, if the sale of your jerseys go down, if the ticket sales go down, it is what it is. But I will also say this: we do not know what was said behind closed doors to get him to possibly be persuaded to do that for the ops. Do you know any black football owners that are billionaires that may probably humdrum around with Trump? Do you? Because owners are the ones that own the players and the stadiums, and it could have been lightly suggested to him, maybe this is something that you need to do. Maybe there was a backdoor deal that we don't know about. We're not privy to all the information.
Right. Yeah.
But I would want to think that as a man of color in this country and all that we've gone through with this administration previously and now, the things that he's said, the things that he has done, that an educated black man who knows anything about politics would make a better decision than to be represented that way to America.
I'm just glad Jalen, he stood on business. Him and his some of his
I
other.
knew when they asked him and he did that crooked smile, I knew that it was a done deal.
Brittany, what are your thoughts on this? Because he's saying keep the politics out of this. I have respect for the office.
Okay, so I have several different thoughts. I do agree with what Chike said. I think that, like we do have to recognize that we have influence when we are on platforms and big screens and stuff like that. I love when people take a stand and stand in their stance and make a hard boundary. I think that the pettiness in me, God is still working on me. I'm very petty. Like, I might not put my hands on you. I might not do all of that, but I will hold a grudge and be very petty. But I'm working on it though. I wouldn't have went just because of the shit he said about me. You know what I'm saying? Like he talks shit about LeBron. That would have made me more mad than the fact that he in the office. You know what I'm saying? I do think that people are finding a way. I said this the last time when Gayle King went up into the space.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the office at this point. Like we can't go physically remove this man.
Right.
We recognize that they're not going to impeach the man. People are trying to find a way to still live, And maybe the man feel like he don't know when he'll get another opportunity to get back to the White House. You know what I'm saying? Like he might not never get that offer again. Like Chike said, we don't know what he was offered to go so that they wouldn't have just nobody show up. You don't know what his reasoning is. And I think that people are coming to this point. I said this the last time too, where it's either you this or you that. And I understand why, but I feel like some point we got to figure out how to still come together, move on, live life, and not just be so stuck in anger that he was voted as president. People are going to go into space. We still got to exist with each other. That does not mean the man voted for him, but you just don't know his reasonings. And so I do respect people that stand firm on their boundaries, but I can understand why him, Nelly, Gayle King are choosing to, respect the opportunities being presented to them for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think it's a personal decision, but again, there will be backlash, and so.
Yeah, it will come consequences, but
Right, exactly.
if you want to take it, then what am I?
Right. So when we come back, former NFL Patriots coach Bill Belichick had social media making talking following a recent interview with him and his young girlfriend. Also find out which legendary rap groups are being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, plus more on the Shannon Sharpe sex assault allegations. Much more after the break. Right back.